Once upon a time, nestled at the edge of a big green forest, lived a sweet little girl. Everyone loved her, but her grandmother, who lived on the other side of the forest, loved her most of all. One day, her grandmother gave her a beautiful little cape made of red velvet. It suited her so well that she wore it all the time, and soon everyone started calling her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her and said, "Little Red Riding Hood, your grandmother isn't feeling very well. I packed a basket with some fresh cake and a bottle of juice. Please take it to her. It will help her feel better. Be a good girl, walk straight to her house, and don't wander off the path. The forest is big, and I don't want you to get lost. I'll be very careful, Mommy. Promise, Little Red Riding Hood." She gave her mother a hug, took the basket, and waved goodbye. "I'll go straight to Grandma's house." The sun was shining, and the birds were singing sweet songs in the trees. Little Red Riding Hood started on her way, walking along the well-trodden path. The forest was full of beautiful things. Colorful flowers grew on either side of the path, and bright yellow butterflies fluttered around her. She hummed a happy tune as she skipped along. After a little while, she came to a clearing. There, sitting by a big oak tree, was a wolf. Now, Little Red Riding Hood was a kind and friendly girl, and she didn't know that wolves could sometimes be tricky. The wolf smiled a wide, toothy smile. "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood," he said in a friendly voice. "Good morning, Mr. Wolf," she replied politely. "And where are you going so early in the morning?" The wolf asked, trying to sound as friendly as he could. "I'm going to my grandmother's house. She's not feeling well, and I'm bringing her some cake and juice to make her feel better," she explained. "Oh, how very thoughtful of you," the wolf said. "And where does your grandmother live?" "Her cottage is just a little further into the forest, under the 3 big oak trees. You can't miss it," Little Red Riding Hood said cheerfully. The wolf's eyes twinkled. He had a clever but not very nice idea. "Look at all these beautiful flowers," he said, pointing with his paw. "Wouldn't your grandmother love a big bouquet? Why don't you pick some for her? She would be so delighted." Little Red Riding Hood looked around. The wolf was right. There were red poppies, blue forget-me-nots, and sunny yellow buttercups everywhere. She remembered her mother's words about staying on the path, but she thought, "Just a few flowers won't hurt. I'll be very quick." So she stepped off the path and began to pick a beautiful bouquet. One flower was prettier than the next, and she kept going deeper and deeper into the woods to find the very best ones. Meanwhile, the sneaky wolf didn't wait for a second. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, taking the straightest, quickest path to Grandma's house. He arrived at the little cottage under the 3 big oak trees and knocked on the door. "Knock, knock, knock. Who's there?" called a weak voice from inside. The wolf made his voice sound high and sweet, just like Little Red Riding Hood's. "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some cake and juice." "Oh, how lovely. Just lift the latch, my dear." "I'm too weak to get up," Grandma called out. The wolf lifted the latch, the door swung open, and he tiptoed inside. He went straight to the bed, and before poor Grandma could even say, "Oh my," he told her to hide quietly in the closet until he said she could come out. He promised no one would get hurt. Then the wolf put on Grandma's nightgown and her frilly sleeping cap. He pulled the cap down low over his furry face, climbed into the bed, and pulled the covers right up to his chin. Back in the forest, Little Red Riding Hood had picked a huge, beautiful bouquet of flowers. Her arms were full. "Oh," she said, looking at the sun. "It's getting late. I must hurry to Grandma's." She ran back to the path and hurried along to her grandmother's cottage. When she arrived, she was surprised to see the door was slightly ajar. She called out, "Grandma?" "It's me, Little Red Riding Hood," but there was no answer. Feeling a little bit worried, she stepped inside. The cottage was quiet and a bit dark because the curtains were drawn. She walked over to the bed. Her grandmother was lying there, but she looked different. "My grandma," said Little Red Riding Hood. "What big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my dear," the wolf replied, trying to keep his voice soft and grandmotherly. "But Grandma," she said, inching a little closer, "what big eyes you have." "The better to see you with, my dear," the wolf croaked. "Oh, Grandma," she whispered, "what big hands you have." "The better to hug you with, my dear," the wolf said, lifting his paws from under the blanket. "But Grandma, what a big mouth you have," Little Red Riding Hood cried. "The better to say hello with," the wolf roared, and he jumped out of the bed. Little Red Riding Hood shrieked and ran for the door. Just at that moment, a friendly woodcutter who was passing by heard her cry. He'd been a bit suspicious when he saw the wolf sneaking around the cottage earlier. He rushed inside to see what was the matter. When the wolf saw the big, strong woodcutter, he got so scared that he yelped, dropped the nightgown, and ran out the back door and deep into the forest, never to be seen near the cottage again. The woodcutter helped Grandma out of the closet. She was a little shaken but perfectly safe. Little Red Riding Hood ran to her and gave her the biggest hug. "Oh, Grandma, I'm so sorry. I should have listened to my mother and stayed on the path," she said, with tears in her eyes. Grandma hugged her back tightly. "It's all right, my dear. The important thing is that we are all safe. You've learned a very important lesson today." Little Red Riding Hood, her grandmother, and the kind woodcutter all sat down together. They enjoyed the delicious cake and juice that Little Red Riding Hood had brought. She gave her grandmother the beautiful bouquet of flowers, which made her smile. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood always remembered her mother's advice. She never strayed from the path again when she walked through the forest, and she was always careful when talking to strangers. And she, her mother, and her grandmother all lived happily and safely ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed our story today. It's a great reminder to always listen to your parents because they want to keep you safe. And it's a good idea to be careful when you meet someone new. If you had fun listening, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful stories. We love reading with you. See you next time, friends. Bye-bye.